Sir?
Hello.
Sir, please start the program.
Hey everybody. All. And first of all, let us thank Dr. Harsa for accepting our invitation. I welcome you one and all to this webinar, which we are planning to organize in a serious way. It's not that one or two. In this lockdown period, we would like to organize a series of webinars so that during lockdown period, the students and the working professionals who are very much maybe depressed by omitting the regular jobs. If we have such a webinars, it will inspire us and it will make us to stimulate and work more. So with this mindset, we have planned this webinar series on behalf of our chairman, Sri M.N. Raju Garu, and our vice chairman, Sri Ravi Verma Garu. On behalf of all the MNR Educational Trust behalf, I welcome one and all to this webinar series. It's not that today only, and we'll be continuing in the coming days also. We'll send you the links. I request one and all to participate. MNR College of Pharmacy started 15 years back, and we have completed 15 years almost. We have all the pharma courses like B Pharmacy, M Pharmacy, and PharmD and PharmD Post Baccalaureate. And we are one of the fast growing institution in the Hyderabad region. And all our working style is on par with any national or international institutions. Hope you will enjoy this session. And I welcome, and I feel sorry for the delay and the inconvenience that is happened due to the technical errors. So now I request Dr. Harsa, who is a pharmacist working in the Tower Pharmacy as a president, and he will share his views, which will inspire our students and the budding pharmacists and all the healthcare professionals. So with these few words, I request Dr. Harsa to take the session. Dr. Harsa, please.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, Mr. Alagarsamy. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I also want to apologize to all the students for the delay that has happened. So it looks like I hear some people. Let me mute everybody, and let's start the session. Okay, I hope you guys can hear me, and let's jump into the session. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Mute this. Okay, desktop. Okay, you guys can see my screen on your end. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
No, sir.
Oh, no, you cannot see my screen. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. Let me see. Share screen. One participant share at a time. Then I want to share my screen, my desktop. There you go. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir. Now we can see.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir, we can see now.
Let's play this. Okay. So thanks for being patient, guys. And first of all, I request everybody to mute the session on your end so you can hear me clearly and no disturbance. So first, I want to start about a couple of things about myself. When I say you hear okay, who's talking about this? Who's telling me about the profession of pharmacy? So you want to get the gist of the pharmacy profession and what opportunities you have from somebody who has been through it or somebody who has seen it. So this is about my CV pretty much. So currently I'm the CEO and president of Mali Inc., which is Tower Pharmacy. DBA, nothing means doing business as. My previous professions, right before I started my own company, was I was the district manager, which is DPM, district pharmacy manager for Safe and Albertsons company. It's one of the biggest grocery store chains with pharmacy, just like Walmart, but it's a very good competitor with a high-end service for all the pharmacy and grocery needs. So I worked as a district pharmacy manager from 2017 to 2018. And before that, I was a pharmacy manager. And I will come into the nitty grits of different careers and opportunity ladders in the field of pharmacy later. So before that, I did as a pharmacy manager. And when I was working as a pharmacy manager, I was able to get the top MTM provider. I was the top MTM provider for the state of Nevada for both 2016 and 2017. And I have won WOW Award winner for 2017 for Albertsons companies. And while I was doing the same retail pharmacy job with the Safeway, I had parallelly one more job, which was the infusion pharmacist, which also I will get into it in detail. So what kind of pharmacist and what does an infusion pharmacist do? Before that, I was a pharmacy intern at multiple small other pharmacy chains like CVS, Walgreens in 2012 and 2013. I also worked as a pharmacy intern in Health South and University Medical Center and Pharma. I know these all mumbo jumbo. I understand where you guys, like, I don't want to know about this, but I want you guys to hear, so that way you know, and you hear these names and numbers, and when you have questions in the end, you can ask me, hey, what does that mean? So I can explain you guys better. And going into the little bit of, just after you knowing a little bit about me, I also want to tell you, education is completely different from practice, guys. So when you go to school, you learn something like how to mix something, what is a drug interaction for two different drugs, and how to take a medication, which drug to be taken in the morning, which drug needed to be taken in the afternoon. You learn all this. But the difference comes in how you articulate this and how you communicate this to your patient. So it's a big difference when it comes to India and America. The thing in America is how you have to counsel each and every single patient on each and every single medication that you're being dispensing. So that's what makes the difference. You might be A1 ranker and you know everything about your medication, but if you cannot pass that knowledge to your customer who's a patient, there's no point. You want your patient to know how to take the medication, when to take the medication, and what interactions they can expect out of the medication. This is just a small example, so that's very important and that's very needed. And while I talk to you guys about all the things that I have done, I also want to tell you guys something that is, when I started my pharmacy school in 2004, I was barely able to finish it. I actually took 5 years. I'm one of those backbenchers. It took me 5 years to finish the pharmacy school. And at that time, I did not realize the value of it, but now I do. It's a major like that. 1 year is a lot of money. Now I work as a pharmacist, and pharmacy career is my main goal, and that's what I do. And 1 year, I would have made a lot of money, or I would have made a good career out of it. I was 1 year behind my classmates. So that's why focus on what you're doing and keep a goal to where you want to be and what you want to do. And there's a big difference, as I said, where it took 5 years, and I came here. And now I made the Dean's List. I graduated with a 4.0 GPA, and I have guided multiple pharmacists, multiple interns to become a pharmacist, multiple people who actually came from India, who are looking to become a pharmacist. I help them out to how to do pharmacy and get advanced in their career. Sorry, if you guys, if all of you guys, if all of you can mute your thing, guys, please. So next, let me jump to the next slide, which is pharmacist license, right? So most important, we do PharmD in India, we do bachelor's of pharmacy. So what is next to that? What do you do, and how do you get a pharmacist license in America? So first thing, if you have done bachelor's in pharmacy, you either need to do a post-baccalaureate Pharm D in India, or you can come to America and do Pharm D. So Doctor of Pharmacy is the basic requirement for anybody to become a pharmacist. So you need to do, if you're already done either one of those, you already done post-baccalaureate Pharm D, or you already done Pharm D in India, then the first step you need to take TOEFL. So when you take TOEFL, remember guys, TOEFL is an English-based course, no math, nothing else. The most important thing for TOEFL is English. So in English, they're going to be calculating 4 different aspects of your knowledge in English. Number 1, English speaking. Number 2, English writing. And then number 3, speaking, writing, reading, hearing. So all these 4 things will be calculated. That way, when you, and each one, I remember one, so, just a second. I'm trying to mute. Just a second. Sorry for that, guys. Just want to try to mute. So I hope you guys can see the slides. If somebody can.
Yes, sir, we are able to see the screen.
Okay.
Sir, but there's a lot of ruckus going around. Many
Yes.
people are unmute.
I hope.
I request the host please to mute everyone's screen except the speaker.
I'm trying to do that. I mean, like, I think, Subhashana, do you have a way to mute everybody? So that way we don't have to go through this. So, okay, so let's jump back to the topic. I think now the noise has been gone, which is good. So the first thing is you have to do TOEFL. So when you want to do the TOEFL, remember the very important thing is you guys have to get 25 minimum in each and every single category. So number 1, speaking. Number 2, writing. Number 3, reading. And number 4, listening. All 4 of them with a minimum of 25, that's the TOEFL minimum score. And after that, you can get, you have to write FPGEC, which means Foreign Postgraduate Examination Equivalence Certification. So you do that. So you get the TOEFL and you do the FPGEC, and then you can either do the NAPLEX or MPJE. So these are 2 different things, guys. NAPLEX is the nationwide exam where you get a license. In order for you to get a license, you need to do the NAPLEX. So after you do the NAPLEX, that's a nationwide test. That's like if you're in India, you're taking a test to become a pharmacist in entire India. After you take that, every state has different rules. So the MPJE is nothing but jurisprudence, pharmacy jurisprudence exam, multi-state. So which means every state has different rules. So like California, you have to do CPJE. If you're in New York, New York has separate rules. You do MPJE plus a compounding exam. So every state has different rules. Like an example, right now you're in Andhra Pradesh, so you have a different rule in Andhra Pradesh. And if you go back to Telangana, they might have different rules as for what you can dispense, what you cannot dispense. So that's what differs when we talk about MPJE. So, I mean, there's a lot of differences in why the MPJE makes a difference. So, I mean, you guys have, like, I'm going to go over that a tiny minute if you guys can listen. So number 1 is, in India, a pharmacist is just a pharmacist, and then there is other people that can help him out. Whereas in America, when you have a pharmacist, there are licensed technicians. So when the technicians are licensed, remember the word licensed. So as a pharmacist, all the technicians are also licensed. And every state has a different ratios that are allowed for a pharmacist to have number of technicians. So you go to California, one pharmacist can have only one technician helping him out. And there can be other clerks. The clerks will be the one that will be checking out, but only a pharmacist and a pharmacy tech can touch a medication. Nobody else can touch the medication. So remember that. So any other person that comes in, nobody can touch the medication. There might be other clerks, cashiers, stuff like that. Nobody is the boss. Like nobody can touch any medications other than a pharmacist and a pharmacy tech. So that makes a big difference. So the same thing in California, I said 1-to-1. Now let's move to the very next state, Nevada. You go to Nevada, one pharmacist and have 3 techs. So this makes a big difference. Are you a pharmacist who wants to have just one tech helping you out? Or are you a pharmacist who wants 3 techs helping you out? So that decides a factor which state you want to go to. So you just randomly pick a state and hey, you know what, I want to go to California. I want to become a pharmacist. You became a pharmacist, and after you became a pharmacist, you might not be able to take the workload because you only have one tech helping you out. It might not be enough. So these factors are very, very important before you choose the state that you want to go in. And NAPLEX, MPJE, and internship. Every single person, after you finish the FPJEC, you have to start the internship, and it will take 1,500 hours. You have to do 1,500 hours of different multi-factor. So I will go back to my first slide so that you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about. So in the first slide, if you see, okay. If you see my first slide, there you go. So if you see in my first slide, in the bottom, I worked as an intern in CVS, I worked as an intern in Walgreens, I worked in Internet Health South, all this. So that's where these 1,500 comes in. You do not have to do all the 1,500 at one place. You can do it in multiple places, in multiple expertises of work, multiple divisions, like home infusion, which we'll come into in more detail. So you can do in all this multiple different platforms where you can learn all the different areas, not just a retail pharmacist where somebody brings in a prescription, you give the medication out. No, you can do other stuff too, like infusion and other things. And then you get to decide, hey, you know what? This is what I like. I want to be an infusion pharmacist. I want to be a hospital pharmacist. I want to be an industrial pharmacist. How do you know it? Only when you do each and every division. So pick those and make a section of, make a detailed list of those before you jump in. And it always makes a big difference. Who's your mentor? Your mentor makes a big difference. Your mentor will actually guide you which way you want to go. And on a small note, one of the things I would say, back when I was a student and when I was very early in the stages of learning, Subhash, or your professor Subhash used to help me out. He used to tell me what to do and which countries used to, have better pay, better respect for pharmacists and everything. And he's actually one of my motivators back in the day when I was looking to find a job, know which country I want to go. So he was explaining me exactly what I told you guys today. He was guiding me back in 2004, 2005. So your mentor will decide, will actually guide you and will actually motivate you to go where you want to go. If you have a bad mentor, maybe you might not be able to find what you want to go. So that's why pick a couple of areas instead of just one area. So that way you can pick one over the other. If you have just one, you're just pretty much stuck with that. So remember that. And let's go to the next slide. So, okay. So differences in practice. This is, I already went through, went most of it with you guys that, every state has different kind of things, different kind of technicians and all that. That's a small difference compared to India and America. But there are other differences too. So let's say in India, you get a prescription. What do? You go back, find the drug and bring it out and give it to the patient. Simple, easy peasy. The same thing is, it's a world of difference. You come to America, you take the prescription and you have to bill it to the insurance. Remember the word, bill it to the insurance. So how do you bill? It's like I don't know if you guys use GPay, stuff like that in India, where you can transfer money to your friends. It's exactly like that. Like an example, I'll give you a small example. Let's say you have a patient, comes in for amlodipine, 10 milligrams, 30 pills, and the doctor says, take one tablet once a day. And then you have to put those in. Patient name, doctor who prescribed, the medication name, and how many refills he wrote, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So whatever the refills, put that in, and then put the directions. Beautifully, you have to write it in layman terms. Remember the word layman terms. You cannot just say 1 POQD. That's pharmacist. We know the terms, the patient wouldn't. So you have to clearly make it into the layman terms where take one tablet by mouth once a day. That makes a big difference. Because why it makes a big difference is you don't want a mom's medication to be given to your son. You don't want a son's medication to be given to a daughter. So because men take different medications than women, you don't want that to happen. So you write everything beautifully, and then you bill it to the insurance. And then insurance, let's say if it costs $5, the insurance might pay $8, and there might be a $2 copay. So the copay is what the patient pays. Remember those things. You have to bill it to the insurance, and insurance will pay you part of it. And there is a copay, which is paid by the patient. So these are the 3 different sections you have to coordinate. Whereas in India, it's just one pay. You get the prescription, patient pays, easy peasy. So that's what I mean by when you have to bill it to the insurance. And I already talked about pharmacist to pharmacy tech ratio. And also one other thing is clerk and tech responsibilities as per state. Every state, as I said, only a pharmacy tech can touch the medications. But there are clerks, right? There are clerks, cashiers, and all these people who does not touch the medication, but they can cash out, bill the patient, and stuff like that. In this case, some states allow the clerks to touch the prescription, not the drugs, touch the prescription, and bill this insurance part that I just described to you. So that's a lot of work, and it always falls on the pharmacist, right? So if you guys have that thing where there's a clerk who can do a lot more, then you're in a good state where they can do most of your work, and then you're doing the intellectual part. The intellectual part is talking to the patient and telling the patient what's needed to be taken, what's not needed to be taken, and what is a drug interaction he can expect, and what he should not take along with it. Don't buy anything over the counter without the doctor's permission. Don't buy anything, don't take anything without asking me. And me in the sense pharmacist. And do not drink alcohol with it. Do not smoke, stuff like that. This is what your this is what your intellectual part is. And it's a whole different area of expertise. Whereas in India, I haven't seen, I'm sorry, things might have changed a lot in the last 10 years, but when I was there, it was different. Doctors usually write the prescription. It's kind of a different scenario where pharmacist relies on the doctor to send the business in terms of prescriptions. But the same thing is different when it comes to, okay, it looks like somebody raised the hand. I don't know how this works. So if anybody wants to have a question, I'll give 20 seconds. Does anybody have a question, guys?
Sir, I have a question.
Go ahead.
You said that postbachelorate as well as the PharmD students are eligible for writing the exam. I have a question regarding what's the eligibility criteria for the graduates of B.Pharm and M.Pharm.
Yeah, there are some M.Pharm people that can do the exams, and those I'm not 100% sure of all the categories. Only some M.Pharm, which are clinical pharmacy and pharmacy practice. If I remember right, these are the 2 things that you can get. I forgot the name. Educational credential, where you can get your credits converted into American credits and then submit to FPGA, and they might let you take the exam. But only those who have signed up, and there might be more. But you can do a postbaccalaureate after the exam, and then you're 100% eligible for FPGAC. But M.Pharm, I only know as of those are the only 2 things. Clinical pharmacy practice are the only 2 things that are eligible for FPGAC. I might be wrong. There might be more than those, but those are the only 2 things I'm aware of.
One more question. Which website gives complete information about these updates of the equivalency examinations?
FPGC, I mean, just FPGC, NAPLEX, you just go into NAPLEX website, and then it will have a section for FPGC. And then once you go to the FPGC part of it, then it will say what are the eligibilities. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not current and it's not 100% accurate. Even though they say only they accept post-baccalaureate PharmD, and 5 years of pharmacy school, they will still accept some of those masters of pharmacies, which I just talked about, which will not be stated in the website, but they do accept it. You might have to do a little bit of personal work. I mean, like reach them out over the phone or emails and stuff like that. But you know, it's worth it. If you can get through, it's worth it. But they're not 100% accurate. They try to push people away as much as possible. They're more focusing on people who has PharmD and post-baccalaureate PharmD. They try to push anybody other than those 2 degrees. Did I answer your question?
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Hi, sir.
Go ahead.
Hi, sir. I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the thing is that I'm a green card holder in the US. So I'm doing my internship right now in India.
Okay.
And so what do you think, that should I write the TOEFL or something, that I'll be the citizen I'll get the citizenship next year.
Okay.
So what is your opinion about me writing the TOEFL? Should I write, or is it like I have to write TOEFL?
Sorry, I didn't get the last part. What were you saying?
So I have to write TOEFL or not? That's my question.
You have to. Regardless, if you have a degree from India, you have to have that. Or if you have a degree from America, like, you know, if you have gone to school here, or like if you have done until 10th or something, or if you have done at least a couple of years of college in here, then you might be able to ask them for a waiver. But other than that, if you have a degree or if you have any college education that is other than America, you have to have the TOEFL done here.
Thank you. So that was my doubt. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Have you done bachelor's of pharmacy or post-baccalaureate of PharmD?
No, Bachelor of Pharmacy. I mean, no, PharmD, regular PharmD, not post-baccalaureate.
Okay, that's perfect. And if you have done PharmD, and you just have to do, you just have to do the FPGC, and then you should be pretty easy to go. TOEFL, that's one of the things. Actually, you know what? I think I missed that part in the past slide. I want to tell you that the easiest way to achieve on TOEFL, 2 things. Everybody loves to watch TV. Watch as much Netflix as possible with the subtitles, and and learn it, and keep repeating yourself. Don't just watch it. Repeat yourself. How come they said this? That's one of the biggest things when I was back in, I don't know if he's still there or not. I forgot his name. He was in Hyderabad. His name is KNR or something. That's where I learned my TOEFL from. So in Malkazgiri, I forgot his name. So one thing he taught me was always carry a thesaurus. Nowadays, we guys have phones, so you don't even have to worry about it. You see a new word, punch it in, learn it. And you see Netflix, you watch, there are beautiful shows, Friends and Big Bang Theory and amazing good shows. Watch the shows. Just don't watch for the sake of watching. Watch for the sake of learning the pronunciations and articulation. And when you learn that makes a big difference. You will once you come here, or when you write the TOEFL, it's easy peasy, just like that. And 25, you can get it. As I said, do the thing that you love the most. Watch TV or read a novel. Actually, reading a novel would help. You start with some good novel. You do 2 or 3 of them, 3 pages. You might get hooked on it. So do those 2 things, and it will help you a lot in order for you to learn. Expertise in TOEFL. You really don't need much of other than that. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Sir, and one more thing. I heard that there used to be NAPLEX. They used to conduct NAPLEX like twice a year, and now it has been shorted to like 1 time a year. Is that correct?
No. You can actually, NAPLEX is like any day, anytime thing. It's 365 days. You set up your appointment. If there is availability in the neighborhood that you're in, you just pick your day, and then you just pay for it, and then you just go sit and take the exam. It's an online test, not at home, but they have test centers where you go. It's just like GRE and TOEFL. So you just go into the center and then you do it. And they have enough dates and enough timings. And you can, if you're in a neighborhood, it will help you out if there's openings.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. No problem.
Good morning, sir.
Go ahead.
I'm Aishwarya from Hyderabad. I'm pursuing second year in B Pharm CA. So my question is to you, what is the minimum percentage should a student have to study postgraduate in other countries?
Okay, that's a okay. In terms of percentages, it's kind of different. So there are two things. One is called EECU, and there's one other thing. I forgot the name of it. So these are called educational equivalency credits. So what universities, what they do is they take your degree from India, and then they validate on American standards. So most of the times, guys, you will believe me or not, even if you, get good grades, don't get me wrong, 70%, 75% in India, it's almost like 3.75 GPA in America. Here, when they convert those credits to here, and that's all they look at. They cannot understand our percentages. When they convert it to the GPA format here, usually if you get 70% in India, it's almost 3.75 GPA here, which is very well. Like you're over 3 GPA, you're pretty good. And I would, coming from India and having a degree from India, having the stronger you are, the better. So 70, 75 is amazing.
And one more question, sir. Why only USA? Why not any other country?
Oh, you can actually, that's an amazing question. You know what? I'll get to that down the line. If I forget, remind me again, but I will get to that in the end of the conversation. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I'm going to continue with this session, guys, and we'll get back to the questions again in the end, or like after 10 minutes. If I want to take a break, we'll get to the questions again. So as I was talking about doctors, I was talking about the doctors and pharmacists. It's a whole different scenario where it comes to India and America. In India, a lot of pharmacists kind of rely on the doctors. Of course, we still respect doctors everywhere. You are a doctor in America. When you get the PharmD, you are a doctor of pharmacy. So even in America, when you do the PharmD, you're a doctor of pharmacy, and the doctors reciprocate the same way. So in India, it's one way around. I see. Things might have changed, but today in America, you come in, there will be a ton of questions, ton of times that doctor will call you and say like, hey, what do you think I should give this patient? What do you think? What is your knowledge on it? What do you know about this drug? It happens at least 6 out of 10 times. So that's the kind of expertise that you're bringing to the table of healthcare. So remember that. So doctors rely on you. It's not like, we're under them or they're not under us. We are equal. We're equal people. And I'll go over that, some of the details in the next slides as well. What are the things that we can help them out and stuff like that. So software, so everywhere that you go, every single pharmacy like CVS, Walgreens, these are huge chains like in India, Apollo back in the day I saw. So these are the chain pharmacies, they use the software, and then the software is the one that helps you bill the insurance, and that will actually keep the track of your patient's drugs, that how long, like past 7 years. You can keep track of their drugs, and then you can like go back and say, hey, you know what, back in 2017, you have taken this drug, and how many times, how many pills they got, how much they paid for it. It's stocked in there. So those are the things, and the better software you have, the better help you can get. Like a lot of softwares will give you drug interactions right off the bat, so you can just tell the patient, hey, you know what, I do see a drug interaction. Let me give a call to the doctor and get it changed to a different one. Like it happens all the time. And there's a lot of robotics on pill counters, stuff like that we use in America. In India, most of the things come in sheets. In America, most of the things come in like bottles. Like an example, it comes in a bottle like this. It's like a huge bottle with 100 pills. So, and the people, when they come to fill the prescription, usually they get a monthly supply, and then you count them into 30 count bottles, and then you give it. So the reason behind it, and I was very enthusiastic when I came to America, and I was seeing like why these people are wasting all these bottles and plastic, when in Indian way, where's the aluminum wrapper, which is more stronger and which is actually easy to carry and easy and all that. So the main reason behind it is they want every single drug to be labeled with the patient's name, doctor's name, drug name, how to take it, and where did they get from, which pharmacy they got it from. So having this information, if they lose it, you can find who to give it back to and stuff like that. So, and then also you don't want, like, I see it a lot, and now I am here and I have done I have worked as a pharmacist here. I see the difference. So there's a lot of the times a lot of people, old people, they're like, oh, the blue bottle is for the kid, the red bottle is for their baby, stuff like that. You don't have to go through those things here. It will clearly say on the label. So that makes a big difference. That's under pills, as I said, pill counters, robotics, those will be new and good to know those things. And now let's come to the nitty-gritty of it. Like, this is the thing that I was talking about. There's multiple areas of pharmacy expertise that you can jump into. So number one, hospital pharmacy. When I say hospital pharmacy in this scenario, in America, medical spending is the highest, one of the highest spendings in America. And how do they regulate it is like having a hospital pharmacy and a hospital pharmacist. If you go to a pharmacy, if you go to a hospital, so there is doctor and the pharmacist work together to come up with a regimen or like some kind of a medication therapy for the patient. So when the patient comes in and the patient, when the patient is getting discharged or when the patient is in the hospital, the pharmacist and doctor go on the rounds, check their charts and come up with a plan to help the patient out. So as I said, we are equal to the doctors, not under or over. So that's hospital pharmacy. And there are long-term care pharmacies. So long-term care pharmacies is nothing but like, you might have a grandfather or grandmother where you might have seen they're taking more than one medication. So in this case, you want them to have all those medications taken together, right? So you, like an example, your mom takes, like your grandmother is some kind of sick or something. So they're taking 4 medications at a time. So if you go back and see their pill box, they'll have like one here, one there, one there. So, and it's cumbersome. The more they have, the more confusion you create. When you have all this confusion, the best way to avoid it is the long-term care pharmacies. What they do is they individually wrap like 5 or 6 pills. This is the morning pill. This is the afternoon pill. This is the evening pill. They are comes in a preset form, and then once they come in, we deliver it or they come and pick it up. There'll be like 3 or 4 charts, and then they just pop one out, and then that one whole bulk will have 4 or 5 pills. It depends on whatever they're taking. So that way, we are reducing the confusion and increasing the adherence of the patients. That's the long-term care pharmacy. And there's retail pharmacy. Retail pharmacy is the regular pharmacy that you've seen in America, in India too. Pretty similar, but difference is only a pharmacist and pharmacy tech can touch the medications, and only a pharmacist can counsel to the patients. The people, they cannot just talk to anybody about the medications. Only a pharmacist can. And that's the retail pharmacy. And there is nuclear pharmacy. It's kind of unusual. A lot of people might have not heard of it. When patients are on cancer medications like cisplatins, those platinum, which has radiation. Sorry, excuse my language there. So people that have radiation, medications that have radiations and all that. So these are actually made, and they have a shorter period of expiry date. The shelf life is really small. So how do you do it? A nuclear pharmacist at a nuclear pharmacy gets it delivered, or they pick it up within 24 hours and gets it taken by them. That is by nuclear pharmacy. And it helps them in terms of all the cancer killing and all that. And there are a couple of people that are raising hands. Let me go over these 3 and then we'll get to that. Geriatric pharmacy and pediatric pharmacy. As you guys know, geriatric is for adult, people over the age of 65. There's quite a lot of people here that still enjoy the life after 70s and 80s when they're 80s. So you help them out. And pediatric pharmacy. 80s, the doses are really low. The regular medication that you get in the regular pharmacy is not good enough for these older and younger people. You might have to titrate it really low. So that can be done in a pediatric pharmacy. And ambulatory care pharmacies. AmCare is pretty much, in my opinion, is mostly warfarin dosing. Most of the times it's people dosing warfarin because anytime a patient is in a hospital, which means they're bedridden. As you guys know, you guys are halfway through the pharmacy school. So when they're bedridden, what happens? The blood is stagnant. When the blood is stagnant, the chances of getting a clot gets higher. So they are on warfarin and enoxaparin combo. And AmCare pharmacist usually is, warfarin is always a hard thing to dose. So AmCare pharmacist continuously checks their INR and makes those warfarin adjustments Doctor only prescribes once, and the pharmacist continues the therapy after they got discharged by looking at their INR. That's the AmCare pharmacist does. And a compounding pharmacist is somebody that can compound, in India, one side, like you have the pre-made forms, you take the chart out and give it out. Here in a compounding pharmacy, there are a lot of people after the age of 40, women, men, low levels of hormones. So we actually get their lab test sent over to the pharmacy, and we give the recommendation to the doctor, and we actually compound testosterone, estrogen, estradiol for the patient level of body hormones, and we put it in a bottle, like a tube or a cream or a lozenge or pill. We make it right here in the pharmacy. Actually, you know what? Actually, I own a pharmacy which is a compounding pharmacy. And if ever we get a chance, I can show you guys that too, how we make it and how do we do that. So we do that, and then these are the expertises that we have and we can do. And every one of this area that I just talked to you guys about needs a pharmacist license. Okay, now that I'm done with the slide, go ahead, guys.
Sir?
Yes, go ahead.
We haven't discussed about the infusion pharmacy. Can you tell it about in detail?
Wonderful, wonderful, great. So, okay, as I said, hospital therapy is very expensive in America. So, like a small example, I say, if a person is admitted in a hospital, remember this number, per day, a hospital charges $8,000 to the patient's insurance per day just for the room. So that's a lot of money, right? So when that's a lot of money, so insured people, of course, they want to save that money. What do? That's when the infusion pharmacist comes in. When you go to a hospital, hey, you know what, I was in the hospital and they put me the IV bag, right? That's what we hear from our parents or whatnot. So when the infusion pharmacist makes that in the pharmacy and delivers it to the home, and the nurse goes to the home and does it for them, which saves them a lot of money. And what are these things that the infusion pharmacist does? It can be any antibiotic therapy, usually ceftriaxones, penicillins, imipenems, ertapenems, all these MRSA, pseudo, all these things that people have a bad infection. Like, you might have an injury and then it has a bad infection. You don't want to be stuck in a hospital. It can be done at home, faster, quicker, just by the infusion therapy. A nurse comes to you and does it rather than you sitting in the hospital and then the hospital does it. That's one. Number two, so the infusion pharmacy also does enterals for the stomach. A lot of people who are elderly, dying, can't eat, can't do anything. So the enteral supply, we do the TPN, total parenteral nutrition for them, according to their body weight, their potassium levels, their all those levels, you get the chart, and then you exactly make their total parenteral nutrition and send it home. And then they get, the nurse goes there, makes an hour visit, bam, puts it. Honestly speaking, nurses are actually going down. They're actually doing once a week or twice a month visits, because once the patient learns how to put it in, they only put the IV tube for one time, and the patient needs to put it in. And once a month or twice a month, the nurse goes in and takes that tubing out and then refreshes it with the new one. And until then, he just need to add it to it. That's all. I hope I answered your question. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No problem. No problem.
Yes, sir.
Right. Anybody else? I saw a couple more people raising the hands. Any other questions, guys? Okay. No questions, I guess. I'm going to go to the next slide. And if you guys have the questions, don't hesitate. Okay. So as I said, the first chart, remember that needs a pharmacist license. That's the keyword. So next, the keyword, the keyword here on this slide is all these are also pharmacist professions that does not need a pharmacist license. You don't have to go through FPGEC. You don't have to go through the NAPLEX. You don't have to go through the TOEFL. You don't have to go through any of those. But getting a job is not easy. So it's hard too. Remember that. But teaching. So you can teach if you have good grades, if you're good and you have a possible chance of, you have good grades and everything, and you have good letter of recommendations, you have experience, expertise, and you have the work authorization, you can become a teacher. Industrial pharmacist, you can work in the industry without a problem. They're like, there's QA, there's quite a lot of areas where you can work. Number 3, pharmacovigilance. I'm not a pro at it, I'm not gonna lie, but I know that there's a job like that. And there is call center pharmacist. This is usually for like a lot of big companies like Amazon and stuff like that right now, delivering medications straight to their homes. And when they have a question about the medications, there is a call center where they call only, because in American law, only a pharmacist can talk to a patient about the medication. So when they call, only a pharmacist picks up and then they talk about it. Drug information, pretty much the same thing. But in the call center part, you're talking to the patient. In the drug information part, you're actually, whenever a new drug comes in, there's a leaflet which has the drug information about it. So this is done by the drug information pharmacist. I talked about softwares in the back. So every software has a pharmacist working in the back, telling them how to improvise it in terms of drug and in terms of drug interactions. Clinical research, as you guys already know, whenever they're coming up with a new medication, of course, they do have to do the clinical research, and there are pharmacists that do the clinical research, and medication therapy management, which is MTM. So, I talked to you guys about drug interactions, right? Which actually is done, is actually the separate career too. A lot of people, which are called medication therapy management pharmacists, they sit at home, they actually got hired by MTM companies, and then they call, and then this medication therapy management is nothing but going off the track. Why our profession is more important is because a doctor can only write a prescription, and we can dispense the prescription, and we just have to make sure the patient is taking the medication. If a patient takes the medication the right way, their hospital bills will be 1,000% lower than what they have to pay. All you got to do is eat right, or, I mean, even if you eat right, age is a factor that will kick in. And when the age kicks in, beautiful factor is you making sure taking the right pill, right time, and continuously, because it's very important you take it. The adherence is very important, and that's done by MTM pharmacist. A retail pharmacist can do too. That can be reinforced. All right, guys, I'm just done with the slide. Any other questions? I saw that a couple of people raised their hand.
Sir,
What?
can I ask you a question?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Out of all these careers, which is the highest paid and which career has got the sustainability?
Good question. I was about to come to that in the next slide, I think, pay scale. I'll answer you there. Okay.
Okay. Which career has got the sustainability, more sustainability? Like industrial pharmacists, call center pharmacists, you prescribed all here. Which career has got more sustainability?
In my opinion, currently, a retail pharmacist is very sustainable. The reason why I say that is because America is like, not just America, in India too, you like to go to their nearest pharmacy. Medication is not something I'll tell you, hey, you know what, I'll deliver it to you tomorrow. It's not like a cell phone. You can wait for 3 days. You want an antibiotic, you want it today. You want it now. And when you want it now, and you go to the retail pharmacy, which is next door. That's number one. Number two, retail pharmacy, they like to talk to them. They like to ask them. Then only they will be able to, like, you know, people comprehend better when you're face to face. Like an example right now, I'm talking to you guys face to face. Let's say if I just do the same thing in an audio call, I don't think you guys would be as comfortable as looking at me and articulating and talking to you guys over here like this. And you would prefer even more if I'm in person in the class, right there. I'm sure lectures are not always boring, but you know, so when it comes to career and when it comes to health, personal health, you want to hear it from the patient, from the pharmacist right there. And also another big thing is, in America, retirement age is pretty early, and people actually retire pretty early, just because, you know, they make a good 401k. I mean,
one more question, sir. Could you please say the job opportunities for PhD holders, and does the equivalency exam require for PhD holders?
If you want to become a pharmacist, you need a license exam. Otherwise, you don't. That's number one. Number two, PhD holders can get any of these jobs that I just talked about, the number 2 slide. You can get any of those jobs.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions, guys?
Hello, sir. Hello, good morning, sir. Actually, I had a doubt, like you have been explaining about the pharmacist license. So what if we want to join into this field, like not directly compounding the drugs, if we want to get into the industrial path or in the teaching or like research, do we really require this license?
No, you don't need a
Okay,
license.
so like I have done my, I'm doing my internship of PharmD, the regular one. And if I get a job opportunity in the R&D department or QA QC in US or Canada, can I directly apply for it and get approved for it?
Absolutely, absolutely, you can. And I actually have quite a lot of friends. We all graduated together, and quite a lot of people. I'm one of the very few guys in my class. Other classes, other people came up. I'm one of the very few people that went to the. I did my PharmD in America again, but only one person that got the license and had the license. Most of the people actually work for the industry.
Okay, so we don't require this kind of license, TOEFL and all for getting into those things.
Right.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir.
No problem. That's a valid question. Good question.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else? Anybody raise?
Oh, one more question I have actually.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sir, actually I'm pursuing my PhD right now.
Okay.
So I want to settle as a research associate in abroad.
Okay.
I have gone through the consultancies, but they are telling the immigration process to settle as a pharmacist, but not as a research associate. So what are the ways to enter into research field in abroad?
The best way, I mean, it's always hard or quite, the path to get to America is the hardest part. Once you come here, there will be a billion opportunities. So when you want to come here, you can come here for a master's degree. Most of the degrees are like, they're good
So I pursue
scholarships.
masters again.
Yes, I mean, if you can get a job straight, you can. That's totally your choice. But if there is somebody willing to give you a job, you can just take the job certificate, offer letter, and then you go to the visa embassy
How
office.
can I communicate the research associates over there?
You can reach out to any company that you see, like Novartis, any company like that. Everybody has a hiring area, and then you can click on that HR department. You can send them an email with your resume saying that, hey, I have this resume. I'm looking for a R&D position or whatnot. And if they have a position open, they'll send you a letter. Or if they're, depending upon their requirements, they'll tell you like, hey, we have an opening. Let's see. And then you take the letter to the embassy and tell them, hey, I have the employment letter, and I just need a visa. And if they're happy with it, they'll give you. If they're not happy, they might reject.
And even for that, I need an IELTS score.
No, I mean, if you have a job letter, nobody's going to ask you for IELTS or TOEFL. Nobody's going to ask you that.
And I heard one more thing that in case of research, they are going to fund us instead of salary. We get better amount of money come back. Is it true actually?
It depends on the kind of the thing that you're getting. I have a couple of friends who has R&D, who has papers that have submitted and got approved for funding. So you have a beautiful paper that tells you like, you can come up with a molecule or come up with a drug or something. Yeah, and there's somebody that looks at, there's review boards, right? There are review boards for the funding department. So the review board will look at your paper and they'll like it and they'll give you the funding. And then you can actually take that as well. Hey, I have funding from this company. The company or like this trust, they're willing to fund me. Can I get a visa and I can go up there and then do my research, which is possible too. Did I answer your question?
Hello, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, I want to know what kind of jobs can be pursued for pharmacy and pharmaceutic specialization.
Industrial pharmacy is a very good opportunity here. Industrial pharmacy there's multiple areas in that too. And that would be the best practice. And and the funny part is, believe me or not, there's quite a lot of companies that are actually owned by Indians or former Indians. So like there are a lot of pharmaceutical industries. I mean, pharmacies, pharmaceutical industries, are quite a lot of these things are actually owned by. I mean, not all. I'm not saying all. There's a good decent percentage of industries are owned by Indians. You can try to find those find those companies that are founded by Indians or former Indians. You can actually send them a letter or send them an email. And I mean, where to get this information, that I don't know. But if you know somebody or through the grapevine, you can find it. That would be the easiest route.
Okay, sir. Sir, what examination qualifications and is required, and what about license?
In terms of getting to an industrial pharmacy, you don't need a license.
Okay.
That's a different section. If you want to come to America to do a master's, you need to have a TOEFL or GRE, stuff like that. If you're coming for a career, which means you already have a job opportunity laid out for you, you don't need any of that. All you need is an employment letter. That's all.
Okay. Thank you
And
so
then
much.
after the employment letter, your visa might get accepted or might get rejected. But that is the route. That is the paper that you need to ask for a visa.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any other questions, anybody?
Excuse me, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, already I have asked you one, like in continuation of it, like I have, if by chance, if I have got a offer letter from a company and they have asked me to join in the R&D department, QA, QC and all. So like the studies which we have gone through here, the curriculum, Indian curriculum might be different from the one which they may be expecting. So do you think we need to go for some extra coachings and all to attend the interviews which they may be putting forward for us?
Nothing. On honestly speaking, I mean, if you studied in America, you might need a extra course to match Indian education. But if you have got Indian education, you don't need extra course. You're pretty good.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
So, and I have a question regarding NAPLEX entrance, sir. The education is different in both India and US, right? So NAPLEX is a license exam in USA.
Correct.
So then, like the differences, how can we cope up with the differences to clear the license exam over there, sir?
Okay, so I mean, honestly speaking, as I said, the exam is different from the practice. So exam can be mastered. You can just sit, study, and practice. There are books, there are NAPLEX books that you can buy, just like Barron's and stuff like that. Just like in India, there are companies that make those books. You can just get those books, and then they have tutorial CDs, or like right now maybe they're on a cloud, so you can just buy that, and then you can watch those videos and watch that material, read the material, and then you can take the test. And as I said, repeat, NAPLEX is not I mean, if you are good at your grades in India, and if you put decent amount of time in doing the NAPLEX, not hard at all. But NPJE, the multi-state jurisprudence, pharmacy jurisprudence exam, is going to be hard. Why? Because that is the one that distinguishes between Indian and American practice. So that's the law that makes you, I'm not saying it's hard, but it is different. That is the one that is different. And that you can know, but you can take the NAPLEX, take the FPGEC and all that, and then you can start working in America, and then you take the MPJE. You have like 1,500 hours that you have to finish, right? And while you're doing 1,500 hours, at that time, you can do the MPJE. In that case, what happens is you're actually practicing, learning, and that MPJE becomes easy.
Yeah. Okay.
No problem. Any other questions, guys?
Hello. Good morning, sir. Yeah, good morning, sir. I'm Dr. Raj Kamal from Hyderabad. Actually, I just wanted to know, like, if somebody is having a pharmacy, like, who is already owning a pharmacy in US, for writing the examination, is it possible for us to go and work there for some time and appear for the examinations?
Yeah, you can. I mean, if you have a possible way to get to America, like if you have a visa or H1, F1 or whatnot, you can. If you have the visa and you can ask them for help, and then you can actually like, hey, you know what, I'm looking for an internship. Work, and a lot of the pharmacies are pretty. And this is also, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more. Actually, you know what? Now the topic has come out. I'll tell you guys. So every single person right here, I want to tell you this. There is something called IPA. IPA is nothing. Indian Pharmacist Association, IPA. And this one, there is an IPA for the entire country, and there is an IPA for individual. IPA Florida, IPA California. So these are the group organizations for Indian Pharmacist Association. So in this one, all these things are actually formed by pharmacy owners of India. Join that, and then you can send them an email. There might be a membership fee. I don't know how it works. They're actually cheaper for students and higher for pharmacies and pharmacists. So you can actually join that and ask them. You can send them emails. Hey, and that's where you can get an opportunity. That's where you can reach out to thousands of pharmacies at one email.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if a person is having a B1 visa, like a visiting visa, right? So
Yes.
like even on that, maybe sometimes like we want to go there and appear for the examination. Sometimes there is a possibility that there may be rejection, or at port of entry they may not allow us to enter into the country. So is there any possibility like that? The possibility of rejection is there?
Very less. 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 maybe. Other than that,
okay.
No, I mean that is fate that we cannot change, I guess.
yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
And as per your conversation, I'm hearing about the things like Pharm D students, those who are completing their Pharm D and Pharm D PB, they are eligible for writing the FPG examination. Am I right, sir?
Yes, correct.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Your presentation was very good, very informative. Thank you.
Thank you. So, any other questions, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As I said you before, I'm still pursuing a student in bachelor's. So I'm in a confusion state. Which course should I take in and form? So as you have experienced, what will be your advice to us to take which course in our form?
Okay, in terms, if you're looking just for the career part, there are other. Actually, you know what? I can get better information later. I mean, I'm just not getting the right words. Definitely, if you do any of the pharmaceutical stuff, I mean, you can do do the masters in America. That would be the best bet. Why I say that is because you're doing the masters here, and then right after that, you can just go to the job. It's very easy. Coming here is the hardest part. And after you come here, you can switch around things. Within the first semester, you think like, hey, you know what? This is not the right career. Let me switch it to something else. You can do that immediately. And you can just switch it to something else and go. And as I said, in industrial pharmacist, QA, QC, and clinical, and drug informatics, industrial pharmacy. In industrial pharmacy also, there's even like thousands of different sections. So those you will get to experience and learn when you come here. If you want to do a master's, if you are doing bachelor's, not PharmD, if you're doing a bachelor's, I would recommend you to come to America to do the master's in pharmacy. You can do in any sort of thing. You can do in chemical engineering, what is that? Biochemical, or I forgot. Sorry, I'm losing the chain of thought. So so something like
biotech.
You got it. You got biotech. Sorry, I was losing. Yeah, biotech. And you can do. So I mean, you can do one of those because biotech is always there. Biotech is always good because insulin is there, stuff always generating in those things, those areas. So and honestly, this is not just the end of it. You want to do. I mean, a lot of my friends, they actually move to software. That's the beauty of pharmacy too. One thing that you want. I mean, I'm not saying any of you guys to change to IT. What I'm saying is, a pharmacist can become a software engineer. A software engineer can become a pharmacist. Remember that. So you're actually having two careers in your hand. After you have a bachelor degree, you come to America and you want to change it, you can change it. But no IT person can become a pharmacist. Remember that.
Thank you, sir.
That's the advantage you guys have. Okay?
Sir, I have another question.
Go ahead.
I'm a bachelor of pharmacy in my 4th year, and I just wanted to have my MPharm in US. So what is your opinion on doing it on pharmacology?
It's good too. You can do it. Yeah, pharmacology is pretty good. As I said, like
and
one thing that's good about America. Scope, yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, it depends on where you're doing and what kind of contacts you're going to get at the time you're doing. So I would strongly recommend when you start, as soon as you start, the internship is what you're going to put. Start looking at internships immediately. And even if it is for start working on getting an
person who completed MS.
Sorry, somebody. Okay, go ahead. I hope I answered your question, right?
Sir, I just heard about the internship and later there was some interruption in between, so I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay, so I was saying, focus on getting an internship as soon as you start. I mean, even though you might not be able to work, try to reach out to people. As I said, IPA, Indian Pharmacist Association, stuff like that. You reach out to them and then you actually send an email. Hey, this is my major. I'm looking for a little bit of internship. And then they will actually forward it to everybody that in that group. And that increases your accessibility to people. And there might be somebody that's working in a pharmacology department. They're looking for somebody to hire or somebody to teach. And then you will have an opportunity there. That's what I would recommend.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Okay, somebody else was talking, I thought. Okay.
Yes, sir. I actually have a question. I'm doing my PharmD fourth year right now, and next year we'll be having a project. And my goal is to actually settle in USA. So, is it better to go through a job or pursue MS or PhD? But the thing which I've heard is that to go there, they're actually asking that even after 6 years of completing PharmD, what is the need to complete a PhD in US and settle down there? So,
I mean, it depends on what you want to do. You don't have to do a PhD. If you are interested in advancing your career, you like to have a double doctorate, PharmD and PhD, that's your choice. You don't have to do a PhD. But in order for you to come to America, you might, like if you don't get a job straight away, or if you don't have a G1 visa to write the NAPLEX and stuff like that, then yes, you might need to come through a MPharm or something like that, MS in America. But other than that, you really don't need to do another education in America. All you have to do is just come here, do the exams, and find a job. That's it. And then if somebody gives you the job, and then you're hired and you get the H1. And that's one other thing I want to tell you too. It's easier for somebody who did the bachelor's in pharmacy or PharmD to get an H1 compared to somebody who did pharmacy and then change their career to IT or something else. So that you getting your visa approved is better.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Sir, the person who completed MS from USA, does they require equivalency exam?
Sorry,
The person who completed MS from USA, does they require equivalency exam?
Yes. Equivalencies exam is not for MS. If you do PharmD in America, then no. If you do Masters in Science, which is MPharm or MS, yes, you do need to do the FPGEC. That is just for the PharmD equivalence.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem.
Good morning, sir. I am Bhavna from mnr College of Pharmacy. Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. I'm Bhavna from mnr College of Pharmacy.
Okay.
Sir, I'm pursuing my family 6th year at present. Within few months, we'll be graduating from our college, and I'm looking forward to pursue masters in UK. So many people were telling me that pursuing masters from UK and due to the lack of job opportunities, they are migrating to US to take up the jobs or heading back to the India. So is this true, sir? Like, which you think the best is the best for the students to take up masters in either US or UK? Any idea?
You ask me, I say America, because that's why I chose America, right? If I thought UK would be good, I would have been in UK. So I chose America because the chances of getting scholarship, the chances of getting free education is the chances are higher. The chances of getting an internship, the chances of getting doing all those are higher in America compared to UK. Let's say you just forget about the education part. After the education, if you want to get a job, the opportunities are even higher in America compared to UK, in my opinion. That I might be biased. I like this, and I'm here. That's the reason. some people might say UK is better if they like that country. But you know, I'm comfortable here. That's why I use it here.
Okay, sir. Thanks so much.
So
One
I
question
think,
from, so one question, so one last question. Like actually, I'm Dr. Rajkamal just now. I spoke
yeah,
to, right?
hi.
Yeah, actually, I have one more doubt. Like some students, like they are going for working, right? So they want to go on H1 specifically into industry without writing any examinations, FPG, whatever it is. So is it possible if somebody is sponsoring in the industry, like is it possible to go on H1 directly and work there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have somebody, if you have a route, or if you know somebody that is willing to offer you a job, and yes, you can get an H1. Yeah.
Okay. So it does not require any examinations or something like that, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
No problem. No problem. I'm gonna actually finish those slides and I'm gonna open up. Okay. If everybody can mute their things, please. I'm just gonna try to mute it. Just a second. Okay, I did mute everybody. So can you guys see my screen or no?
Yes, we can see Dr. Garsa.
Okay, perfect. Let me play that. Okay, wonderful. Okay, let's go to the
Dr.
first.
Garsa, I think so. If you complete your presentation, then we can have questions, because your presentation should not be stopped for any reason.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. You know, I've been
No, it's not that. My suggestion. Let us have maybe if you are free, maybe another 1 hour, 2 hour also we can continue.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
whatever you want to convey, let us view all. Then we can have question and answer sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly speaking, there's only a couple more slides, and I know that there's going to be a lot of questions because it's career. But good. That's good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. About the pay scale, guys, somebody asked me what is the highest paid and what is the thing. So I'm not going to talk about somebody that I don't know, but I'm going to talk about what I know. There's something called a pay scale and a pay ladder, right? So in America, the retail pharmacist gets paid the highest. So, oh, sorry, just a second. I can't see myself, or I don't know if you guys can see me or not. Can you?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, great. And you can see the screen as well. So in America, the highest paid person is usually the retail pharmacist. And the retail pharmacy can go up from, can start, and it also depends on every state. So you start in New York, it's less pay. You go to California, highest. You go to Alaska, higher pay. So California is a higher pay state compared to the other states. And the pay also varies by, doesn't vary by license, but it also varies by the tax that the state has. So every state has different income tax. So depending upon that, the pay goes up and down. So California has high income tax, so that's why they have to pay them higher. Whereas New York has less income tax, so New York gets paid less. And this is one of the very crucial thing I'm going to tell you guys. Mark this. It's a very unusual thing compared to India and America. In America, a pharmacist or any healthcare professional gets paid higher in a rural area, which means, like if you're working in a small town, you get paid more. If you're working in a big city, you get paid less. That's kind of opposite from what we have experienced. So the smaller the city, the better the pay. And I'll give you some numbers too by the end of this session. So number one, so in terms of pay, there are, as I said, the rural areas, there's not just pay, there is sign-on bonuses too. You can always ask them, hey, you know what, I came here and I'm on a job with you. I'll sign a 3-year contract. Can you give me a sign-on bonus? You can negotiate that. So some places, if it is a rural area, they do pay sign-on bonus. Everywhere is different. And I'll give you an example. As I said, and I'll talk about myself. I worked in a rural area when I first started my first job, and I signed a 3-year contract, and I got paid $30,000 right off the bat. $30,000 for a 3-year contract. And that's not a pay. That's That you get first, and then you start working, and then you get paid. And I also want to give you average numbers, or like, the variation of cycle. So in New York, they approximately pay the pharmacist about $60, $55 to $60 an hour. And the same thing, if you come to California, they pay almost $72 for a pharmacist. That's number one. Number two, that's the difference in variation. And number two, there are different kinds of pharmacists, I said, right? Usually retail pharmacist is the highest paid, but the hospital pharmacist, the other kind of pharmacists that we talked about, they get paid less than a retail pharmacist, usually in the starting stage, but the pay can go up when they get promotions. Like an example, a hospital pharmacist can become a therapeutic level where he's part of the medication therapeutic list. Like an example, a hospital only carries certain types of medications. And if you come to that board where like you are the person in charge of deciding what you need to purchase and where you can purchase these from, and like, that's levels, like, you become the manager and stuff like that. And then the local regional manager, and then you become the head of their hospital chain like that. And then you become the TNP head, which is a therapeutic and purchasing group head. In that case, your pay goes up. This is the ladder, okay? And the beauty of it is here, there is no reason you will not be escalated or promoted by any reason. You work hard, you have 100% right or 100% equal chances than any other person that's right next to you to grow in that ladder. That's number one. Number two, that is the hospital thing I talked about. Number two, in terms of a pharmacy, that the same thing that you have seen me, I was a pharmacy intern, and I became a pharmacist. This is the number to remember this, guys. There is pharmacist and pharmacy manager. It's not the same thing. A pharmacy will have a pharmacy manager and pharmacist. Sometimes if it's a small thing, there's only one guy who's like a pharmacist and pharmacy manager. A pharmacy manager gets paid more than a pharmacist. What's the difference? So the pharmacy manager is responsible for all the activities. Pharmacist just comes in, counsels, and goes. But in terms of having the inventory, making sure the schedule is done for people to come in and stuff like that. Who's working today, who's not working today, if they want some leaves, all these things are taken care of by a pharmacy manager. So a pharmacy manager gets paid more than a pharmacist, usually by $3 per hour. So $3 per hour, so that's almost approximately, if you do the math, it comes to be like $500-600 extra per month. So that's for the pharmacy manager. And after the pharmacy manager, there are other small things which you can grow in the ladder chain, and you can become operation specialist, which I was for a minute. I did it for 6 months in order for me to jump up. So in this case, again, you can get a raise, another $10 or $5 depending upon your company. After the I forgot one thing. When you're a pharmacy manager, you get paid $3 over. This is average, guys. This is not written in stone. It can be about $3. And then on top of that, a pharmacy manager gets a bonus every quarter. There's 4 quarters in a year, and every quarter you get a bonus depending upon your performance. You're doing good, your numbers are good, you're doing decent business, your customers are giving good feedback about you, you get a bonus. That's only pharmacy manager gets it. Pharmacist has a license, pharmacy manager, but only pharmacy manager gets the bonus. Then you can become operation manager, and the operation manager level, again get a pay rate. After that, you can become a district manager. When you're a district manager, which means you have certain number of pharmacies under you. Like, as I said, an example, Apollo Pharmacy was a small chain that I know of when I was in India. So here there are a lot of chains, like there are regional chains, there are big chains. Do Read is a regional chain in New York. Rite Aid is the nationwide chain. CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, these are nationwide chains. And there are small other little chains like Raley's, Ralph's, Smith's, Smith's is big, sorry. Smith's is big. So they're like small and big chains. And in all total, there are almost 70,000 pharmacies in America. So when you have those regional chains or the big chains, about every 28, 30 of them are categorized into a district, and then that district will have a district manager, and then, which I did, and then district manager gets another hike, and the district manager gets a bonus quarterly, and the district manager gets a bonus usually about 10 grand every quarter. about, don't quote me on this, guys. These are approximate numbers. So the district manager gets that. And after the district manager, then there is a regional head. So which means California has one, Nevada has one, New York has one, like that. And after that, there is a regional head, which means West, East, South, and North. So that's on. And after that, there is a big head, which is like the head of the pharmacy. I mean, of course, this is a huge ladder, I'm saying, but I'm just saying that there is endless opportunity in the chain of growth in America, or not just in America, everywhere might be, but you know, that's just the reason. That's just a chain of work and chain of growth that you have in a retail pharmacy. And in hospital pharmacy, pretty similar. You can become the head and all that. And currently, there are like remote opportunities, insurance side coordinators. There's other areas too that if you want to pursue, you can become an HR, you can become a clinical educator, which means every year, unlike other countries in America, you have to have 30 educational credits every 2 years. Even after you get the license, every 2 years, at least 30 hours of schooling has to be done by each and every single person. So in that 30 hours, so you can be a clinical, so you can be a pharmacy educator, which means in your company, you just educate all these people, just like Zoom meeting that we have. You can educate these people on virtually or personally, or they can come to your location and then do it. Big companies invest in this because they don't want it to happen. They don't want them to so they always make sure that education is a continuous process, and they invest quite a lot in it. So I personally think, I mean, retail has a lot of growth, but apart from that, I have seen people who are working in big chain pharmacies for hospital and other institutional pharmacies where they were making like $80 an hour, and I have seen people who are making $100 an hour too. Don't quote me, that's like an unusual number. That's usually people that have performed really well. Average numbers, think of 60, max 72 in California. And I also said rural is better than cities. Remember that. Why? Because rural, it's hard to get those pharmacists going in and working. And when you're coming from India or when you're trying to find a job, that's what your catch should be. Your catch should be finding that job where there is necessity and where you have the power to decide you want that job. Whereas if you go to a city, they will decide your pay and they'll decide your thing. Where you go rural, so you have at least a say in picking what you want. So that's about the pay scale. And sustainability wise, as I said, like, you know, I mean, things can change any day, anytime. Retail will exist at least another 10 years. You never know. Online boom, Amazon, and all these people coming in with all different stuff. Who knows what's going to happen? But we are a necessity. Like right now, COVID-19. This kind of proved our necessity. This is when there are a lot of companies that are closed down. Pharmacy is necessity. We are open. Actually, I mean, I haven't closed my store one day. I was open all the time. So we are a necessity, and we are considered heroes of helping this community out. And I mean, I don't know if you have seen it. Quite a lot of pharmacists and their doctors have been thanked by this country for their services at the time of need. So that's very important. That's why I said, like, we are need and necessity. And it's chances it can go online, but at the same time, people will try to avoid that. And a pandemic like this happens, and if there is no retail pharmacy and everybody has to rely on online, anything can happen. So just for that, those reasons, even though technology might advance, they will still keep our doors open, I think. So that's about the pay scale and our sustainability. And I already actually, you know what, guys, you know, I have written all this, and most of you guys already worked. Ask me these questions. Where to start? As I said, you can come for an MPharm or a master's, and then you can work as an intern, and then try to find a job. How to approach? As I said, like, and you can actually, unlike in other countries, you can actually go to a store, actually personally go to the pharmacist and ask him, hey, I'm a pharmacy graduate from India, and I'm looking for a pharmacy intern position. Do you have one? Plain and simple. Nobody's going to look down on you. They will actually appreciate that you have the courage to come in and ask them. Drop the CV, and if they like it, they'll call you. If they don't like it, what did you lose? Just a paper. And you have the confidence that just make sure that is how you approach it. That's one way. Number two, job sites, which you guys already know. Number three, IPA, which is an Indian Pharmacy Association. Associations make a big difference, guys. These things will expand your reach and clubs. Like if you guys are part of Rotary Club, Lions Club, stuff like that in India, I mean, you can actually continue it here. And there are other companies like BNI, which means Business Networking and Integration, stuff like that. There are a lot of communities and a lot of business communities and the group organizations that we have, which you can join as a pharmacy student, pharmacy intern, pharmacist. Any of these cases, you can join them, and that's where you put your request in. That's where you put your resume in. That's where you advance your thing. And everybody's looking for a good pharmacist. If you're good at what you do, you always will have a job. And how to excel: do your job right. Always be there 5 minutes early. I mean, unlike today, we were having trouble. Otherwise, I was 30 minutes early. Just want to tell you that. But always be early at any of the things that you do, and leave the last person to be, and you will excel. And who to contact, same thing I said, IPA and stuff like that. Go reach out to any pharmacy and ask them, I'm looking for a job. Industries, you randomly, you buy a small drug in India, for aspirin, and look at the drug, who made it, and then try to reach out to them. If the company is from America, or if you want to go to America, if the company is from London, or if the company is from Germany, just reach out to them, shoot them an email. They might discard it. All you're trying is just shooting an email. It might work. Things happen in miraculous ways. You never know what's going to work out for you. And somebody asked me this question: why not UK, or why not other country, or why not Canada? Why America? I'll tell you that too. So this is my personal opinion. Again, I might be biased because I'm here and I like this country and I have chosen to be here. I might be biased, but why I say that is, here you will be respected as equal, and you will be treated as equal. There is no other person that gets extra points or extra chances of succeeding because they are from here. You're equally treated. That's number one. Number two, I think America has better pay scale compared to others. I have a couple of friends who has been to Canada and all that, but when I talk to them, my pay is always bigger than them. And taxes are high, really high in any country, but Canada is really high. But you get what you pay for, right? When the taxes are high, they have free healthcare and other stuff that you get out of. So these are the things that you need to factor in. I know what I need, and I chose this. And you need to factor in: do I need free healthcare, high taxes? Let me go to Canada. Do I need less taxes, high pay? Let me go to America. Do I need to be close to India, just 5-hour flight, go to Australia? Or if you want to be even closer, I don't know how farther, if you want to be in London, like UK, you can be there. So it's your choice. Your things will determine this. Your choice of, and same thing goes to the pharmacist job in retail and hospital too. Hospital pharmacists usually less stress, but a lot of intellectual thinking. But whereas the retail pharmacist is more talking to the patients, more communication, and less in terms of not less, but compared to them, a lot of less paperwork and stuff like that in the retail pharmacy. That makes a difference, not just the pay. So do I want to sit at a desk and work? Yeah, let me choose to be a hospital pharmacist. Do you want to stand and talk to the patients? I love talking to the patients. Go pick a retail pharmacy, and everybody has different benefits and everybody have different choices. Just the way I said about rural pays more than cities. You are somebody that want to be in the New York skyline, yeah, get paid less and live in New York City. And you are somebody who's okay with their farmlands and enjoy the nature and get paid more, yeah, be in a countryside. So these are the things that distinguish what you want to choose. Not me, not anybody else. So you are the person that, I know a friend, I actually got him a job twice in New Jersey. He rejected it. He said no, I want to be with you, bro. I want to work with you. Why? Because he's not comfortable with the cold weather in New Jersey. That's your choice. I myself, I got an admission in PharmD in Touro University in New York, and I got in Roseman University, Las Vegas, Nevada. I picked Las Vegas, Nevada. Why? It's sunny, it's better, and it suits me. Las Vegas is my kind of place. And I lived in New York for 2 years, but it's cold and traffic jam and stuff like that. It didn't work. I have a lot of friends. I could have gotten a job right after I graduated very easily, but I chose this place. Why? Because it's sunny and it's better and it suits me. So those are the distinguishing factors that you need to look into, not just the pay, look at the things around it. So the weather, the money, the benefits, the I mean, the relatives or friends and family, their environment. Look at those things. Those will distinguish what you want to choose, not just the money part. And the country too. You're going to London, I mean, happily go ahead, but London can get darker, colder. But if you're somebody that loves it, no, that'd be my guess. And if you're somebody that likes too sunny, go to Australia. Or if you're like kind of moderate, you can come to America and pick one state that works for you. Or you're like, you know what, I'm kind of iffy, then you can go to Canada. And also, one other thing that decides the factor too, the FPGEC exam and the NAPLEX exam. You pick that, right? So if you go to Canada, you only have to take 2 exams, if I'm not wrong. Whereas America, it's almost 4. I mean, not 4, like 3 exams. So in Canada also 3 now, actually, sorry, IELTS and 2 of those exams. So here also FPGC, MPJE, and so yeah, pretty much 3 right now after the PharmD. So it's pretty similar, but you choose those things, and the chance of getting a PR, green card, is faster in Canada, less in America. So those are also the other things that you need to do. So if you already have a green card, like Rohan, so you don't have to worry about it. Like, if you're somebody that does not have a green card, or somebody that does not, that's looking for a path to go, if whichever country gives you the visa easily, that makes a big difference. So that's another thing. And pretty much that, I mean, you decide what you want to do next. And always remember, guys, I said the mentor decides your path. If you get a great mentor, you will be in a great position. And whenever you have a great mentor, it's not easy to deal with them. So understand that hardship that you're going to go through with that mentor is going to sculpt you to become a better person. So never give up on, hey, you know what, this mentor is hard. This teacher is teaching me hard. This teacher is grading me hard. Don't think. If you achieve in those hard grading professors and hard treating you mentors, that's when you're going to be sculpted into a better person. And that will actually ease your path once you become a pharmacist. Why? Because it's easy, and you do a mistake after you become a pharmacist, you lose the license. It's hard, and then you learn good, and then you're doing everything right, and you will not lose your license, and you have a stable, steady job for the rest of your life. So that's what decides it, what you want to do next. And a couple other things I want to tell you when you come to America, before I finish. After you come to America, do not choose any job or any internship randomly just because they're paying you high. I had actually multiple opportunities when I came here, which were actually paying me higher pay than a pharmacy clerk. But I told them, I would rather sweep their pharmacy floor rather than me working in a motel, hotel, or any T-Mobile store or any mobile store. Why? Because I want to learn from the scratch. That's every year I put in there. I actually took less money home, but by the end, it was easy for me to get into pharmacy school. The jobs hired me pretty easy. No other pharmacist in my category was able to reach to the levels that I have reached that fast, just because all those people chose in other areas of work and tried to make more money at that time. Then once they finished up pharmacy school, that's when they became pharmacists. Whereas me, even before I finished the pharmacy school, I started working and I started knowing how the world of pharmacy works around me. So all these things, when I became a pharmacist, helped me out. Even though I got paid less, and after I became a pharmacist, my growth was exponential and pay got heavily increased. Now I own my company and I have my own pharmacist. So that's what that couple of dollars I saved there. I mean, I lost there, and a couple $100 I made here. So that's how. I mean, you don't have to follow my path. That's just one way of getting expertise in any career or any field that you choose. Okay. So now that we're done with the presentation, I think I mean I can stay as long as you guys have questions. I'll stay, guys. I mean, I'm off tomorrow. Go ahead. Any questions?
Excuse me, sir.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sir, this PharmD is undergraduation and post-graduation together, sir. Then what the education we pursue in the USA to become a retail pharmacist?
You don't have to pursue any education. To come here, you might want to come for like you might come for a master's in science or something, but you don't have to finish it. You're just a path to come here. But you can just do a certificate course. You can do anything that you want. Once you come here, you find a job. You don't even have to finish your school. But, and if you have, like somebody told me that he has a green card, you don't even have to do anything. You just walk in here, do the exams, become a pharmacist. Easy. Or if you already know somebody that can give you a job, then you don't have to do anything either. Get the job certificate, go for visa gets approved, come here, start working. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Sir,
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question. Are the career opportunities the same in Canada as they are in the US? And also, you told about the 3 exams. What are they, sir? In Canada.
Canada, see again, don't quote me on this. They have, I think, 2 steps, step 1 and step 2, something like that. And then again, I'm not a pro at it. It's been a long time. Before 10 years ago, I tried to get in. I looked into it, but I mean, things might have changed. I mean, I'm sure one of these days, one of your professors will set up a professional career thing for Canada as well. I mean, they might be able to answer you better. But my opinion is, I mean, what I heard is you need to take the IELTS. And then there's step 1 and step 2. Step 1, you have to take the exam, and then after that, you have to wait for 6 months or something and do your hours of internship, and then you can take the step 2.
So the career opportunities are the same as the US, sir, in Canada too? What all you have explained?
Pretty similar, yes, pretty similar, but it's just a different pay scale and different level of opportunity. In America, there's more jobs. In Canada, less jobs. But in America, less chance of getting a green card. Canada, more chances of getting a green card. So, you know, it has pros and cons. And you know, Canadian dollar American dollar is 1.5 times bigger than Canadian dollar. So those are other things in terms of pay that makes the difference. They might actually make less than us, and their dollar is actually not. I mean, that goes up and down for us. That you know, Canadian dollar is not as big, as valuable as American dollar.
All right.
Sir,
Thank you, sir.
as per present situations, getting visa is very hard. So can you suggest some things that we can get visa easily? Like, what are the main aspects that we need to have while getting visa?
Honestly, if you have decent credit score, sorry, not credit score, decent IELTS score and all that, and then you can just tell them, you know, I mean, it's honestly speaking, it's purely luck. You know, I'm going to give you my example so you guys know. I wasn't a great student when I was going to, as I said, like, you know, in the first slide, I wasn't that big of a expert or anything when I was in school. So by the time I finished, I actually had 9 backlogs or something like that, whatever you call like right now. So I 9 backlogs or something. The guy right in front of me had 5 backlogs. So this is how the interview went. I'm just going to tell you the exact way it is. So I don't want you guys to lose hope or gain hope. I mean, like, I don't want you to do the wrong thing, but it's just luck. The guy in front of me was interviewed by the lady, and then the lady asked him, "Hey, how are you doing? What's your GPA?" Stuff like that. "What's your percentage?" And he said, and after that, she asked, "How many backlogs you got?" He said, "Unfortunately, 5." And she said, "Sorry, unfortunately, I cannot give you a visa." And after that, my chance came in, and she asked me nothing. She did not ask me about backlog. So it's kind of random. If you do what you do, and if you get it, and if you're going for the admission or something, if you have a
Sorry
good
to
unit.
interrupt, sir. I can't hear you. Lots of disturbance.
Okay, so let me mute everybody on my end if I can. Okay, so now we might be able to hear. So, well, as I said, at the time, like, you know, the guy in front of me said, "Unfortunately, 9 backlogs," and I said, I mean, she didn't even ask me any questions, and I just got the visa, and I had more. So he said 5, and I had more than him, but I just got the visa. I'm not telling you to get the backlogs, but I'm just telling you it's just a random chance. It's not choice; it's just a chance. You might get it, you might not get it.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, in USA, PharmD is considered as the UG or PG.
it's considered a professional degree, which is not a
Professional.
it's a professional degree. It's completely comes to a different class. It's like a doctor. So you doctor, you don't ask a doctor, have you done undergraduate or postgrad? It's a professional degree. So those are considered in a different level.
For Indian PharmD, will it be considered as a professional itself in USA?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Indian PharmD will be considered as a professional?
Yes, correct. Correct.
In USA?
Yes, correct.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, no problem.
Sir, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Regarding I wanted to know about the PhD. Like, I'm a PharmD intern right now. I'll be finishing my course in July, by the end of July. So I'm planning to pursue PhD in USA. So is that possible to directly get into PhD, or first I have to come for masters and then I have to apply for PhD?
No, you can actually come for PhD straight, and there are a lot of courses who are actually aligned with MS and PhD, and there are a lot of courses who are straight PhDs. If you can get into any college that is offering a straight PhD and you apply for it, you get the admission, bam, you good to go.
Yeah, yes, sir. I have gone through the procedures, but I also came to know that we need a recommendation from any of the professor from the university we want to get into for PhD. So I don't know anyone in US. So how can I get in touch with the university and the professors? Like, how do I start first?
The letter of recommendations that you get are usually from the letter of recommendations from your current university, not the university you're going into. The university you're going into, if you know a professor there, it increases your chances of getting admission. But the letter of recommendations that you're going to get, that is from your current professors. Not from the
Sir, on which date, on which month NPJ examination scheduled, sir?
What exam again?
NPJE, sir.
MPJE and NAPLEX are continuous. It's like everyday thing. You pick the date, and if it is available in the examination center you chose, you take it. It's available almost 200 days out of 360.
Thank you, sir.
So which universities are like top 5 to get MPharm, like which I could, in your point of view?
Brown is a very good, these are Ivy League universities if you want to get in. Like Brown University is very famous and very good. And there is, of course, MIT, Boston University is pretty good. And St. John's is a very good university. And of course, Stanford, University of California. These are all good universities. And honestly, you don't have to have if you're good, UCSF, University of California at San Francisco, is one of the top most universities for pharmacy. Brown University as well.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if someone is doing a job in Gulf country as a pharmacist, then if they want to do a job in US, then they have to go with the same examinations?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear.
Sir, the PharmD opportunities for in US and UK are same, sir?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know much about UK. I don't know.
Okay, sir.
Sorry.
So, what are the job opportunities for the MPharm pharmacognosy?
I have not heard any good opportunities, in my opinion, in America for pharmacognosy. That's one area. It's not really that much that has that much of a equal response like India. Not that many opportunities for pharmacognosy.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can.
Sir, I'm currently pursuing my UG in biotechnology. So, if I want to go in this pharmacy field, what should be my future plans?
Actually, if you're doing bachelor's in undergraduate in biotechnology, you can absolutely do master's in biotechnology and then go from there. That's actually pretty easy and straightforward.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of jobs for biotechnology.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No problem.
Hi, sir.
Yes, hi.
This is Rakeshwar. I'm a person with a bachelor's degree.
Yes.
I want to pursue masters in USA, sir.
Okay.
And I'm one of my friends suggested me to do masters in healthcare informatics. Is it the best course to do, or what do you suggest me, sir?
It's actually a very good course, healthcare informatics. You don't need a license to pursue after, so it's a very good, and I mean, in terms of technology and everything, it's more going towards the software. So this healthcare informatics is going to have stable jobs going forward. It's a very good profession. Again, every one of these things, when you ask for an opinion, it's my opinion. It might go bad, it might go right, or it might go wrong. When you ask me about something happen and something that is legit, like an exam, yes, this is the exam you need to take. But when you ask me for my opinion, this is my opinion. I think it has stable future, and it's a very good opportunity. Why? Because it has it does not need a license, and information technology is going up, so that will work.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
So my friends were pursuing their degrees in engineering, having internships at third years or fourth years. But pharmacists, we can't have internships when we are pursuing. Why? Like, is there any opportunity for internship when we are pursuing?
Sorry, I didn't get that. When you say career opportunities for pharmacists in third or fourth year, what does that mean? I didn't get it.
No, not career opportunities. I'm talking about internships, sir.
Internship opportunity. Okay.
Yeah, I can't find internships right now because I want to do something, but there is no internship in currently for pursuing students like third year, fourth year students.
So for bachelor's or PharmD?
Bachelor, sir.
Okay. And you're looking for internship opportunity in India or America?
India.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to find. I mean, again, I came to America 10 years ago, and I don't know how the situation is right now. I mean, you should be able to find in some industries and all that if you reach out and if you know somebody that knows somebody in the company. I'm guessing, but I personally don't know. Because it's been a very long time I came from there. But I have friends who have actually worked when we were in the fourth year of pharmacy that wanted to do some internship. But that was back in 2008 and 2009.
One of our professors said that women are not actually taken into industries things because is that true, or is that any assumptions they are making?
I mean, if you honestly ask me, pharmacy is a female-run show. I mean, everywhere I know that, even in America, even in India, not in, as I said, numbers might have changed. In America, it's a female-run business. 51% are female, and 49% of the pharmacy field is by male. It's a female-dominant field in America, so it's more opportunity for them. Women love to be behind the counter and love to talk to people, and are actually the right. I'm not saying this is the only thing right, but this is actually suits them very well on their level, and it's actually dominated by women in here.
Thank you, sir.
No
Hello,
problem.
everybody. So
Hi, sir.
I request
Hello.
all to restrict the questions. Hello, please listen me. I request the participants to put the questions related to career opportunities in US because he can guide us. He left India maybe 10 years back, so he may not aware of the current scenario in India. So I request the participants to put on questions about the career opportunities in USA. So Dr. Harsha, can you spare some more time?
Oh yeah, sure. I can spare. Yeah, as I said, I'm off tomorrow, so.
The session with question answer. So I request the participants to raise their questions.
Hello, sir.
Hi there.
Sir, I'm pursuing B.Pharm, and I want to do Pharma MBA in abroad. What about job opportunities, sir?
So sorry, you said bachelor's in pharmacy, right?
Yeah, sir. B.Pharm, bachelor's of pharmacy.
Yeah, I mean, you can do masters in business, and honestly speaking, there are a lot of pharmacies that actually hire pharmacy MBA people, and which are all of those things that I told you, which does not need a license. So you can do MBA, and then you can as a manager in a lot of pharmacies front section, where it kind of ties up both the worlds. Like in America, where you go to a pharmacy.
Sir, I want to do Pharma MBA in Australia. One of my friends suggested that Pharma MBA is good in Australia. Whatever.
No, just the way the professor just told you, I'm not an expert in Australia, and they might set you up with one other career course, career opportunity course with an Australian person that might help you out. Again, it's not like I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't want you to give you wrong information.
Hello.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir,
Thank you.
hello, sir. Sir,
Yes.
can I ask a question?
Nice, yes, absolutely.
Sir, can you give us some more details about how to clear NAPLEX, or how you have prepared for NAPLEX?
Okay, NAPLEX, just like any other exam that you pass, you take in India, it comes, you can order the book online. Okay, so this is a good thing that you guys asked me this question. So this is something like if you have time, write it down, or if you have pen and paper, write it down. It's called studentdoctor.net. Studentdoctor.net. So this is a blogging section, blogging website where all the pharmacists, doctors, dentists, and everybody has their own threads. And even in pharmacists, there are multiple threads again. So like for New York, New Jersey, every other country, and even UK, Australia, every country has other threads in this particular website. So this is a great resource for you guys where you can create an account and actually talk about all these resources. And this is where you can actually, if you are going to UK, hey, I want to write the test in UK, how do I do it? I want to go to Australia, how do I do it? You can actually ask multiple people who has already done it, who are actually parallelly doing just like you guys. So you have a group of people who can work together. And that's what I did. Number one. Number two, NAPLEX. NAPLEX has an exam book. It's called Pass NAPLEX. PA says Pass NAPLEX. Pass NAPLEX, it's a website too. You can actually buy the books from them. And they have videos on each and every single chapter. Pharmacogenomics, pharmacology, chemistry, and biotechnology. Every single area, every single chapter, they have the videos and they have this book. You actually master that book. It's just one book of like maybe 500 pages or 600 pages for your entire career. You master that book, you're good to go. You can pass the NAPLEX pretty easy. And as I said, the same way that you have America, and you can buy these books from already people who just passed in the student.net, or you can buy these books just online on Amazon, or you can, not just for America, you can actually classify this in student.net in any country or any other pharmacy, or if you have friends in dentistry and other things too, they can actually talk about it and share their knowledge back and forth. I hope that helps. Actually, that's actually a very good resource that helped me out really well.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I am studying 5th year PharmD currently. Yeah, the coming year I have to do internship. So is there a chance that I may get a internship in USA?
Absolutely. If you come to America, as I said, the first thing you need to do is join the IPA, Indian Pharmacy Association. It might be $50 or $60. I don't know exact membership fee. Join that. And then first thing you say, okay, you join it and then ask them, hey, this is my resume. I'm looking for internship position. Can you forward it to all the pharmacies you have? You have almost thousands of pharmacies. I'm not even kidding. Like, they have like 2,000, 3,000 pharmacies in there. So they will forward to all the 3,000 pharmacies one shot as soon as you join it, and then you ask them for it. They send it to the admin's email asking for that, and then they'll send it to all the pharmacies that are there. Bam, and one of them will pick you or call you, and you might move on from there. That's number one way. Number two, you go to any pharmacy that is already pre-existing. You see the pharmacies like on the street, like you just go in there and ask them, hey, I'm a graduate from Pharmdy, and I'm looking for internship. Are you guys hiring? This is my resume. And just drop it off there. And they might not be currently hiring, but as soon as the position opens up, they have your resume on the list. They'll call you first.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, I'm into the last few months of my internship of PharmD. So in this condition, like I'm in a dilemma whether to take up a job or to go for higher studies. Both the fields I'm interested, but since this was a 6 years long process, I want to find something that makes it easier for me to find a good career as soon as possible.
So
where
what
do
do
you
you
want?
suggest me? Yes, sir.
Sorry, go ahead. You finish that.
So like what do you suggest me whether to take up, because at this point I'm not sure which field to take up, whether even if I get an offer in job, or to take a master's in a particular field. So what do you suggest me if I get a option for both job as well as a higher studies abroad, especially in Canada or US? What do you think, I need to take up a job and then go for a higher studies based on my knowledge which I have taken up in the profession, or I need to take up a course and then I need to find a job?
I mean, if I think PharmD by itself is enough. I mean, you really don't need extra unless you have the thirst or zeal to learn more. If you want to learn more, go ahead, continue. And if you think that, I mean, I think personally, PharmD is decent enough. You're a doctorate. You're not given a doctorate just for the heck of it. They gave you because you learned something. So, and if you have that, you already got that doctorate, and you feel that you're knowledgeable enough. And if somebody is thinking that you're knowledgeable enough and offering you a job, I'll take it. And unless you have the passion to study more.
Okay, so if I get a job offer in Canada or US, if I join it and then like I feel like I need to have some more education, like I want to do masters or PhD, is it possible? Like, is it easier for me to join up like that?
Absolutely, you can switch anytime. You can, making money is the hardest part. Getting a job is the hardest part. If you want to quit and study, it's not that hard. I mean, I know it's hard after you get the job, but it's not that. It's on you. At least it's not on somebody. But somebody giving you the job, it's on them. So if you have that opportunity, I'll take that first, and then jump onto the education thing later on.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, can you?
I can hear
Sir. Sir, yes. So you suggested the book for prepare this NAPLEX. This book is sufficient for us. We have to take any coachings to clear this exam.
Honestly, you don't. Honestly, if you can, like
Sir, is it easy to clear this exam in single attempt?
Yes, it is. It is not. I mean, I did it.
I heard that this exam is a bit difficult.
It's, as I said, if you
So
are
this
good,
book.
and as I said, if it totally depends on you. If you know that material, it's easy. If you don't know the material, it's hard. But if you can push through that book, and if you can grind that book in your head, you got it.
So sir, no need of taking any course and all, right?
No, you don't have to take any courses. If you're comfortable, as I said, I have a couple of friends who took the courses and failed. And I have a couple of friends who never took a course and then they passed.
So can you repeat the name of books? Student Doctor, you something?
Yeah, student doctor.net.
Yes, okay, thank you so much.
So I also want to say, మీలో ఎవరికైనా సరే ఏమైనా అర్థం కాలేదన్నా మళ్ళీ చెప్పాలన్నా సరే లేదు ఇంగ్లీష్ అర్థం కాలేదు మళ్ళీ తెలుగులో చెప్పండి అన్నా సరే I have no problem. Let me know anything.
Hi, sir.
Hi there.
Yeah, so I'm currently in my final year of BPharm, and I'm looking for courses in the States for my master's. And it's a little bit outside my budget, so I'm looking for scholarships as well. So do you think I'll be able to crack them? Are they easy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you go to the right consultancy and right people, it's not that hard. People should be able to get you a decent, decent scholarship in a lot of schools. A lot of people, not just the scholarship, there are other things called TAs, teaching assistantship and stuff like that.
Of course,
so here, teaching assistantship actually pays you better than scholarship. So they might help you out a lot. I mean, if you usually the consultancies will guide you what program has teaching assistantship. And then if you do the teaching assistantship, you can actually make more money, and then you actually can learn a lot of stuff of how it works here. And as I said, one of the things that you can become is a teacher that you don't need a licensed pharmacist, and it's a good career too. So that actually paves the path if you are somebody that is interested in teaching and research.
Of course, thank you.
No problem.
Sir?
Hi.
Are these Indian standards of pharmacy are equal to the USA standards of pharmacy, sir?
It is. I mean, the practice is different, but the standards are pretty good. pretty same. Like, the practice, like, the knowing about the drug is pretty much the same, but how do you practice? How do you process? How do you bill? And how do you? There are minute differences. If it doesn't matter, you go to Pakistan or you go to Bangladesh, there are things different. Even though they are our neighboring countries, things will be different. Like, we do. I mean, like American standards, they say. And I go to Canada, we are neighboring countries. It's night and day. The practice is different, but the knowledge is the same. The amlodipine in India is the same thing as amlodipine here, but how do you give it out to the patient differs. So those are the things that you need to, minute things that you need to learn, the change wise. And that you have to do anyways. Any country you do, you change, you go, you have to learn that.
Sir, for entering in the teaching profession in USA, is it matches the standards to teach the people?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's not that hard either. I know quite a lot of people that are professors that actually graduated with me and graduated after. I mean, your Professor Subhash and Dr. Ravi, Vallu Ravi. I mean, they are all our seniors back then. There are a lot of people who graduated after them, and they actually became professors here without a problem. And that's one of the things. You come here and you do one of those TAs and all that in any kind of masters that you want to pursue, and then you can become a teacher right after that.
What's the difference between PharmD and MS?
Oh, PharmD is the doctorate. It's just particularly only pharmacy, like the practice of pharmacy. Whereas masters is like masters in pharmacology. It just picks one area of pharmacy and then branches it out.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I'm a PharmD graduate and I'm looking forward to pursue masters in public health. So is it worth doing, and what are the career opportunities?
What is that last thing you said? What do you want to pursue career in?
Public health.
Oh wow, wonderful! That's a great profession, and actually, America is a big promoter of public health. It's very important, especially right now with the pandemic and that just happened with coronavirus and COVID-19. The public health emphasis has been increased across the board, across their countries. Every country is actually investing in public health. As I said, things might change every day. Like 2 years after this, and everybody may forget about coronavirus, and then they might stop the funding for public health, or something like this might come again, and then they might increase the funding. But at this point of time, today you're asking me after the coronavirus, it has a tremendous future.
So what are the career opportunities, sir?
Oh, so public health is nothing but you're trying to it's called herd immunity pretty much. You're trying to make sure everybody get immunizations, everybody get stay away from each other and stuff like that. So I mean, opportunities wise, mostly government institutions have this public health jobs compared to private institutions. So there is job opportunity everywhere, but it's mostly government side, not on the private side.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Unless it is a non-profit organization.
Thank you, sir.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, to crack the examinations like NAPLEX, to take the coaching or guidance from anywhere, sir?
You can.
Is it necessary?
It's not necessary. Nothing is necessary. It just depends on how you feel. And as I said, like now with all the virtual communication and all that, you can actually do most of these things online if needed. Otherwise, you don't have to. And there are some actually back in the day, I don't know if they still do it or not. There's some consultancy called Chopra's in Hyderabad back in the day. And they were doing actually some courses for USMLE and NAPLEX and stuff like that. I don't know if they're still doing it or they have ever done it, but I did hear in India, in Hyderabad, Chopra's was doing USMLE and NAPLEX, stuff like that back in the day. So I mean, as I said, you don't have to do it. If you think you want it, you can.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, you were telling about internships in pharmacies in US.
Yes.
Will they provide any stipend, sir, for that? Or
Oh,
we
yeah.
have to bear the whole cost?
Very, very good question. Very good question. It just depends on where you're getting the job. I mean, if you're getting a job from a cheapo who's always want to take advantage of other people, they're not going to pay you. But if you're going to find a job in a private organization where it's actually mandated that you need to get paid. But as I said, if there's always people trying to take advantage of others. If you find somebody like that, I mean, I can't help it, or nobody can help it. You might have to take the burden. But if you find somebody good, actually, if you're any private organization, any big company, they are mandated to pay you, and that's a decent pay too. They pay about $20 to $35, depending upon where you are located.
Okay, sir. Sir, can I have your mail ID, sir?
Sure. Actually, you can ask. After this class, they will forward. You guys, if you have any questions in the group, it's harsha2002@gmail.
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat it once more?
It's just my first name, harsha2002@gmail.
Okay, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, hi there.
I'm Maharajan. I currently pursue my bachelor degree in biotechnology.
Wonderful.
I have a doubt that will it help me fetching a job in US only this biotechnology bachelor degree, or it's better to continue with masters?
As I said, degree is nothing but a path to get a job. And if you can get a job, there's no need to grow unless you want to learn and you have the passion to learn. So, if you can get a job, don't even worry about it. And if somebody thinks that you're worth it with a bachelor degree, go for it. And but if you think you want to learn, go ahead, learn. But if you're not able to get a job, then you keep on studying until you find until somebody finds you're worth it and they give you a job.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, sir.
You were telling about some softwares in pharmacy field. What do you think about the softwares like SAS and all?
They're good too, honestly speaking. I have that's another very good opportunity area for pharmacists when you do SAS, especially in the clinical research area. The statistics on when you compare with the control and placebo, stuff like that, all those statistics are usually done by the SAS software. And having a basic knowledge about the pharmacy area and learning SAS would tremendously help you to get a career in a software field. And if you're somebody, especially if you have done bachelor's in pharmacy, and if you just get a basic knowledge of SAS or something like that in India, and when you come here, you can actually come for master's or something right after you finish your course, to be able to use that previous knowledge and get a software job very easy. The only difference is, software job, you will not, you don't need the license and all that to get the software, but of course you're kind of switching your area of expertise. So getting, your green card or visas extension might be a little tough. You just have to prove them. It's still in the clinical side and all that, but it's a very good booming area, and and most of the healthcare companies have a SaaS area. So like, Novartis, Abbott, AbbVie, all these people have a SaaS area of jobs.
Okay, so how much will be the pay scale for these software jobs, sir?
Usually, as far as I know, it starts at $94,000, $95,000, and it can go all the way up to $200,000. Yeah, and that's again, maybe even more too if you're that good at it. But usually 94, and it's usually caps at 120 unless you're a pro.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
If you come to US, you are telling we can come by doing some MS like that.
Yes, that's usually the path. Because
yes. But we have to spend some more money for MS like that, no, sir?
It depends on the college that you're getting in. I know a lot of people who got complete free write-off. A lot of people who got 100% scholarship. A lot of people who got 100% TA assistant, RA, research assistantship, or teaching assistantship. And we're actually, forget about they putting out of their pocket. They actually got extra money.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No,
Hi, sir. Myself, Vamshi.
Hi, Vamshi.
Sir, I am pursuing my B.Pharm final year.
Okay.
I just want to do Pharma MBA. How is it, and what about job opportunities, sir?
MBA is business, right? Once you do the business, there are a lot of jobs in pharmacy marketing areas and also pharmacy industry areas. It's endless. Once you do the MBA, you can usually move around in other fields as well. The pharmacy is kind of linked with other things too. So if you do the marketing, like MBA has other sections too, commerce.
How is it, sir? How is it? And it's nice
good.
or
It's good. It's good. It's if you're talented and if you can prove yourself worth it, it's a good area of career.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir. Hello, sir.
Hi there.
Sir,
Hello,
I'm
sir.
pursuing PharmD.
Yes.
After PharmD, I want to do MS in UK. Can you suggest me the best course?
Not, as I said, UK, I'm not a pro at it. I don't want to answer something and I don't want to sidetrack you guys. That would be something.
Or in US, sir?
Oh, in US, there if you already did PharmD, as I said, you really don't need much. But if you want to do something, you can actually do Masters in Industrial Pharmacy. If you want to go towards the industrial side, pharmacovigilance, pharmacogenomics, all these are booming fields that you can biotech. If you want to move towards the biotech, you can branch out into any area of expertise once you got the base. Right? The base is the PharmD. You want to, what you like. There are a lot of good career opportunities. You can just do MBA, nothing more. You can just do MBA, and then if you're good at it, and then you can become a pharmacist at the manager at quite a lot of areas. Any of these huge companies that produce medications, you can become a CEO of it one day. But it's just how good are you at any profession you choose.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, is it possible for us to do our project work in collaboration with any US industries or anything like that?
Yes. As I said, I don't know how to find the data of what are the companies that are owned by former Indians or what are the companies that are actually looking for research collaboration with India. That's something you can actually ask the career department of your college, or you can actually do your personal research and then try to reach out with them. And then if they are interested, all these things are possibilities that are there, but how you approach them, that's the key point. And the key point is how do you find those companies and reach out to them, or how do you approach? How do you ask your career? Career experts in your college who can guide you or walk you through or share their contacts with you, and then who can collaborate with you.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Hi there.
Is there any source to follow you after this session, sir? Is there any queries we will put forward to you, sir?
Yes, you can absolutely. As I said, one of your professors might be able to add my contact information in there, so where you can reach out to me in the future, not now, even after you come to America, you have some questions about it, you can always reach out to me.
So what was the resource to follow you? Is there any Facebook ID?
Yeah, you can just my name, Harsha Benji, and you can just add me on the Facebook. Yes.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hi, sir. I want to ask you something about the scholarships you were talking about. I'm Cherian David from Hillside College. How do we avail these scholarships, sir?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Like you talked about various scholarships plan, like you can get 100% scholarships, like when you apply for a course over there in US. I just want to know how we can approach these scholarships. Like,
those are the things. Either you can ask the consultancy or somebody that you are working with for the admission process, or once you come here, as soon as you come here, you can go to the career advisory group, or every university has those career and scholarship, like financial advisors. So where you go there and you ask, hey, I'm looking for a scholarship, what scholarship this university have? And then they'll give you all the list of it with the emails and everything. And every university is different, and every university have different scholarship levels. So whatever the university you go to the financial advisor and ask them, hey, I'm looking for our bursar's office. That's what they call bursar's office or financial advisor. Go there and ask for, I am looking for scholarships that are designed for our university. Can I get the list of them? And they'll give it to you, and then you can reach out to them, every single person with your resume, and then they will let you know you're approved or you're not approved, and what other documentation they need, and then you might get it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No problem.
Sir, previously you were talking about something like without appearing for the exams, you were telling about getting a job directly.
Yes.
And what is the role of licensing in such situations, sir? Like, if you don't, I'm a family student basically, and
Okay.
if I get a job in US, post-medicine, yeah, then I don't need to appear for my licensing exams. Is it like that or something?
No. It depends on the kind of job, right? So if you find a job that does not require a license and you got the job, of course you don't need the license. And if you find a job that requires a license and they will ask you, hey, I'm going to give you the job, I'll give you 60 days and you got to get the license, or 90 days, depending upon their terms. And once you get that license, then they'll hire you. And if you fall short on your end of the deal, which is you are not able to get the license within the given time, they're not going to give you the license. They're not going to give you the job.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions, anybody? I still see some more people's raising their hands. And I think we'll do
It's
for
like a
almost 7 minutes.
lecture we have planned. It's like a lecture we have planned, but it's like a conference. It's going on almost 2.5 hours completed. Dr. Harsha, thanks a
And I
lot
hope,
for your very energetic session. So, still any more questions, Dr. Harsha is ready to address. The participants can make use of this chance. Still any more questions? But let it be pertaining to the career opportunities in USA. Not like other questions. So we can complete the session after addressing your questions. So still any more participants would like to raise any questions related to career opportunities in US?
looks like
Dear all participants, so you will fill your feedback form after completion of this program, so that we had already circulated the feedback form to your mail ID. So please complete the feedback form. Once you have completed your feedback form, you will receive your certificate within 1 or 2 days. Okay. So we received on so much of participants, almost nearly 3,000 participants they registered. So we need on a time to send the certificates, so it will take on a 1 or 2 days. So once you are completing feedback form, then only you will receive your certificates. So we are expecting your feedback forms. Okay, and thank you Harsha sir for the wonderful sessions, and we are getting on most encouraging comments from all the participants. And we started on a program at 10:30, and now the time was around 1 o'clock, and tirelessly you are answering for all the questions which was raised by our various participants. So once again, that on behalf of that organizers and MNR College of Pharmacy, we are very thankful for giving that such wonderful session, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I hope I
So
was able to
principal sir,
answer.
now you can come.
Thank you.
So many of the students we can see that.
Sir, is it
So many of
available
the
in YouTube? Is this session is available in YouTube, sir?
I would like to say that session is available in YouTube after the completion of this session.
Oh,
so maybe from afternoon it will be available in the YouTube. Actually it is linked, but due to some technical issues it will be available after some time. But all the students who are participated in this will be given certificate, and Dr. encouragingly addressed. Importantly, you must have seen, whenever we conduct any guest lectures, we get some numbers and they divert their mind. After some time, we can see some chatting within the students. But even after 2.5 hours, I don't find any diversion because of the energetic lecture given by Dr. Harsha. So this is a very motivational and encouraging lecture during this lockdown period. I think most of the students will make use of this chance, and hope in coming days also even Dr. Harsha and even many experts also will be inviting in the lectures, and we'll have many more sessions. We have prepared a small certificate in appreciation of Dr. Harsha's efforts in participating this lecture. So can we have that certificate? Can I have that certificate to display?
Good afternoon.
As a token of appreciation from the MNR College of Pharmacy and on behalf of all the delegates who has participated, is it possible to display the certificate?
I think I have it. Just a second. Okay, let me share it on my end. Just a second. Okay, you're able to see my screen. Yeah.
So kindly accept our appreciation. This is like a memento which is given on behalf of the management, our chairman Sri M.N. Rajgaru and our vice chairman, who felt very happy to organize such a sessions. And on behalf of all the delegates and our faculty members and students, I request Dr. Harsha to accept this certificate as a token of appreciation, and hope in the coming days also we'll have so many interactions. And thanks a lot for accepting our invitation and addressing all the issues. But even after completion of the session, we'll follow you with your that is Facebook or the email IDs, and highly accept our request and it address all our students or all the faculty members who will be following you. Thank you very much. Thanks one and all for participating in this event. I also put another thing in this international pharma webinar is going to be continued even maybe few 1 or 2 in every week, especially during this lockdown period. We are planning to continue every week 1 or 2 seminars like this. So the link related to this will be addressed to all the pharmacy students as well as all the healthcare professionals. Everyone can participate and make use of these sessions. So if there any student who can say a few words about Harsha lectures, so he will feel happy for spending this time. Is there anyone or two students or any other college faculty member can say a few words to appreciate Dr. Harsha's involvement in this?
So yes, sir.
Dr. Harsha, you can minimize the certificate sharing can be.
Hello, sir.
Yes, hi.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hello. I am Dr. Rupesh Kumar from Sri Adi Chunchanagiri University, Karnataka.
Hi.
Yes, Dr.
Sir.
Rupesh, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank our Dr. V. Alagarsamy, sir, for arranging such a wonderful session. And not only for students, even for faculty also, it is the most useful session. Sir, Dr. has given a wonderful information. So with this, our budding pharmacy people can grow and make use of this session details. On behalf of all of us, I want to thank you, sir. Thank you for such a wonderful informations.
I'm glad I was able to help. Thank you.
So there is a difference between regular class and the seminars, Dr. Harsha. When we go to seminars, they will catch only 50%. 50% they don't understand. But in your seminar, everybody could understand like a regular lecture.